going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to continue working on the camper trailer. So we're going to finish off the electric water pump and jump into mainly the wiring. As you can see, I've released my own hoodie. So this is the front and back design. So if you'd like to help support the channel, you can go check those out on Instagram. I've got more photos of those up there. You can always email in the link below. I've also released some stickers. So let's get to it, guys. Alright guys, so if you haven't seen the last video where we put this pump in, you can check that out at the link above. We ran out of hose clamps, so I went and got some during the week to put on. So I'll whack these on. So before we can fill up the tank, guys, we have to connect our vent. Last time we filled it up, it was sort of spraying out everywhere. So we're going to connect that into the top. The only way I could really come up with was to buy a 90-degree fitting and cut it down. We'll have to drill it in there and just silicone it in for now. It shouldn't go anywhere, and it doesn't need to be very big. So the hose I did get is just a bit too small to go over the end, but it does go inside. So if it doesn't work, we can just take that right angle back out and just buy a bigger one the same size as that and whack it in. So yeah. I've still got that filling up now. That breather's working a treat. The glue hasn't dried yet, but I couldn't resist to trying it out. I just wanted to see how it worked. So next thing, we'll get to start wiring up the pump and probably the radio and the speakers and the lights and all that. So I had a really good idea last week, suggested in part 6 video in the comments, was Mark McIntosh with I should buy a travel buddy and put it in here. So I think that's a really good idea there, Mark. What I reckon we'll do is continue that shelf across and then probably put the travel buddy inside. So I reckon that'll be good. Probably keep it up nice and high so nothing could damage it. So what we'll have to do is add a 12-volt outlet for that. So that could run all the time off the batteries. We'd be able to cook something while we're driving. I have seen there's a page getting around of what you can cook inside. So I might have to look into that. Yeah, I think the next step here, guys, is probably just to wire up a few things, because it would be handy to have some lights and that working just off the switch, because at the moment we're sort of touching it on the battery and that's not really convenient. The first little thing I will add though, I did pick up a handle for here, so I'll add that just next to the lock, and then we'll get stuck into that. Just connecting up the radio harness now. I've changed, it took me quite a while, but I've changed this panel so that the switch lights will illuminate when you turn the switch on, instead of before it was the dash lights positive and dash lights negative, obviously for the vehicle. I've changed each outlet, so each switch has its own power supply, so we can go through each fuse here. So we've got 6 switches and 6 fuse holders, so that'll be much better. We've also added, you might have seen the time lapse, I've added a underneath there a bolt, so that can just be our common earth point. Instead of having to run another cable down the battery, we'll just bolt it to there and that'll be our earth point. So what we've got here is we've got our outlets at the top, radio in the middle, fuse, 15 amp fuse, the lights will be a 5 amp fuse, and then these will all just be spares, so we don't know what we're running yet. So probably that travel buddy will run off one of these. The fridge will definitely run off another one, so it'll be outlet for the fridge, and the water pump will be running off another, so that'll be roughly about 6 there. So we'll get to soldering the ignition feed up for this one, or just the switch off the back, and yeah, hopefully we'll power up soon. Radio is wired up at the moment. I've just got this front speaker and the back speaker wired. They're connected to front and back on the back of the radio. I haven't done the other ones yet because I want to run the wiring up the top for the lights and all that too. So I'm just going to connect the earths to make sure that radio works. I have installed the antenna, so that's all nice in there. I've taped up the extra length on the cord. So I'm going to connect these 2 earth eyelets just to that bolt that I added earlier. So our first switch just does the gauges, the gauge. So 12.5, and we've got both our outlets there. The second one does do the radio. So if that'll turn on for us, there we go. I haven't set it to the local radio station yet, but we can see that works. So that's good, and the fuses are there for that, nice and easy. Alright, so I reckon we'll wire up the water pump next and hopefully get some nice high pressure water. So just for the water pump, I'm just going to run the wire like we did with that main power cable, so just a bit of conduit down the side. I've already drilled a hole in the back there, so we'll just run that down and just tuck it behind the water tank and down to the bottom of the pump. We'll earth it up the top. I was going to earth it down the bottom, but I don't want another screw in the floor, so we'll just bring it up there and then just run it off of one of these switches. And yeah, so we'll get to doing that now. So I've just got this bit of 3mm cable on a spool left, just laying around, so I'll just use that, and just some of this conduit like I did in the last video. Just feed that on there. Just put a cable tie on the top just to stop that tube from falling down, just to hold it in place. I've run out of P-clips for now, so I'll have to get some more of those and put them on. So that water pump's all wired up, so it's into this 15 amp slot there. I've just closed that door, guys, just because the wind's coming out. The weather's not really holding out today for us. It's been bucket and rain, so sorry about the noise there. So the pump's down there. I've run the wire up the back and just secured it up there for now. Going up through there into the back into this. Just show you there. Sorry. Third slot there. So what that just did then when I clicked it on before the camera is it was primed that whole pump. So if we turn that on, we should get water coming out. So that's much better flow than what we had before. For some reason the radio's turned on too there, guys. I don't know why that's happened, but I've checked it out. But yeah, so that pump's in. That's really exciting. I've been waiting to put that in for a couple of weeks now. It's just trying to find fittings for it. I had to wait to get some fittings, but it's all in there now, so I'm happy with that pressure. So I think the last thing we'll do today, guys, is probably just wire up that maybe this side LED strip, and I think we'll call it good. All right, guys, how good's this? We've got lights. They turn on. The other side turns on as well. And without that turned on, we've got that all done. So I still have to put a stopper at the top and bottom, support the bottom a little bit more and sheet it all in, but I mean, we're getting somewhere. So this wiring, I'm going to add the speaker wiring to the back in that. But yeah, that's all there, nice and neat, screwed back up. So we still have 2 slots left for switches. So that'll probably be maybe some outside lights. I do have a light bar to mount on the back of the trailer, so we might do that. And definitely that air compressor needs wiring. So there's a little switch on the side. We might just run a relay or a 100 amp relay or something and power that up. Alrighty guys, that's going to be a wrap for today's video. Thanks for watching. Definitely give us a thumbs up if you like the video and subscribe. Make sure you turn that notification bell on so you get all the new content and goodies. In the next couple of videos, we're going to start to make some electronic stabilizer legs. So I've got some, but they're just a little bit too short. And I've got some old windscreen wiper motors, so we'll turn some things up on a lathe, hopefully, and get those happening. So that'll be probably one of those empty switches will turn one of them on and go down. So they'll be nice and torquey, and even if we need to change a wheel on the side of the road, they'll sort of come in handy for that. Yeah, but definitely check out the Instagram. I post there a lot before YouTube, so that's links in the description. Yeah, we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.